Hi, today I'm doing something really simple. It looks a lot better once it's finished than you realise how easy it is really. I'm going to make a gâteau with meringue, so I just want to show you how to make a meringue first and how to compile it, and then because I'm doing it for visitors tomorrow, I will assemble it tomorrow and show you how that works. So all you need really is eggs separated. You're not going to need the yolks. I'm making quite a large one, so I'm doing about 6 eggs because anything left over I'm going to make some small ones for children that are visiting our home this week. So for 6 egg whites, which is in here, just a little tip that I do, and it's saved me a few times, is try not to, I think it's easier not to break the egg yolks all into the same bowl, so you're not sort of opening it, tipping it into your mixing bowl, the whites. If you have 2 separate bowls and you crack your egg, pour the white in, it stops any yolk falling into previously opened eggs, and it's a nightmare trying to take the egg yolk out of the white. So I normally start with 2 bowls, egg yolk in one, egg white in the other, tip the one egg white into the bowl ready, and then start again. And then you know there's no yolk at all in your egg white, otherwise it's just not going to get that fluffy appearance. Now for every egg white, you need 2 ounces of caster sugar. So I've measured that because I'm using 6 eggs. I've got 12 ounces of caster sugar ready, and I'm just going to slowly incorporate this once I've got to the right texture. So I'm using my faithful machine here, so I'll bring the camera over a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I've got a whisk attachment on this one. This machine comes with other things like paddles and things. That's no good for making meringues. You need to incorporate as much air as possible you can. So I'm going to put that on there. Now this is going to be a bit noisy, sorry, but I want to show you what happens with the egg when it changes colour and also volume. So if you can use a hand whisk, that's fine too. Start on a lower setting and then slowly build yourself up, otherwise you're going to end up with egg white everywhere. So sorry for the noise. Now with this machine, it doesn't really take very long to bring that air into it, but I'll show you the stages as we go along. While that's doing that, I just want to show you how I'm going to get the shape of the meringue. For this particular one, I'm doing 3 layers. So obviously you want them all the same size. So what I've done previously is decided what size I want, and for that I've drawn around, as you can see that, a circle. It's going to be quite a large one this one, so I've done that 3 times on baking paper. You don't need to grease it or anything. Obviously if you're using a pencil, put pencil underneath so you can see the shape through it and you're not going to get pencil onto your meringue base. Right. This is slowly getting there. If I bring the camera over, then you can see what is happening inside. Bring that around a moment. I'm going to do that the way that's changing now. It's slowly getting that in there. And you can see starting to gain little edges of heat coming through. You can see that, but the what's happened now is that the egg white is thickened up enough that it's not falling off the whisk attachment. So I'm now going to slowly lower that down again, start it off on slow, and slowly add the sugar a bit at a time. Okay, so that's going in now. I'm just going to slowly add the sugar, just do it bit by bit so it incorporates. There we go. go, a bit more. Just want to do this slowly. So it's hard to hold the camera at the same time as I'm mixing it in. There we go, nearly there. I know you can make a meringue in different ways, and obviously if you're making like a pavlova, you can add other things like a little bit of vinegar and some cornstarch as well. Now I'm just going to whisk that a little bit faster now just to get the top of it. I just incorporate the last of it. I'm just going to check that now. I've mixed those two together now, and it's so thick that if you turn the bottle upside down, the bowl upside down, nothing falls out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to spread those into 3 layers onto the paper I've already set. Just want to show you what this looks like before it goes in the oven. That's one of the layers, and it's now on the baking sheet on top of a tray. And that's going to go in the oven for about an hour on a low setting, about a gas 2 or 3, and 150 degrees on a fan oven. I just want to show you what I've been doing for the centre of the gateau. Now, because I'm going to do this tomorrow, I wanted to get the coulis sorted out today because it's got time to cool down before it goes onto the cooled meringue. So in this saucepan, I've got a 3/4 of a cup of water, a cup of some dried fruits, or you can use fresh fruits if you prefer not to make a coulis, and also then half a cup of sugar. Now that's done in American sizes. Because I've made quite a large one, I've doubled up the recipe on this one, and what I'm going to do is heat this saucepan up, and once it's all cooked through and the sugar's dissolved, then you add a little bit of corn starch mixed with water to thicken it up, and then I leave it to cool overnight, and then I'll show you how I assemble that with some fresh cream tomorrow. Okay, in the oven these meringues can often take up to about an hour depending on your oven. Right, this is one that's just come out of the oven, so I'm going to let that cool down, and then tomorrow I'm going to take them off the paper very carefully and compile the cake in the 3 layers. Good morning. This is the final part really of putting together the gateau with the meringue. So I've got the 3 layers here. I've put one out already onto a plate. As you can see, I've made quite a large one. Now I've got the fruit that I did yesterday. That was with just some dried fruits, some frozen fruits with some sugar, water and some cornstarch to thicken up the mixture. So I'm just going to put these down as layers. This morning as well I've whipped some double cream. So I'm just going to put this in here now and just gently layer it across. Don't worry if the meringue cracks a bit, you know, I think that's part of the meringue's character, to be honest with you. So I've got just part of this I'm going to put in here, and then the next what I'm going to put on the next layer. If you make a mistake, you know, the coulis here hides a multitude of sins with the cream and you won't notice it. So normally on the top of this I melt some chocolate and just drizzle it over the top of the cake, but the people I've got coming today, the lady's allergic to chocolate, so that's not something I can do this morning. Here we go, that's one layer. Onto that now I'm going to add the cream. All I've done with the cream is whip it, and I've also added a little bit of icing sugar to that, sifted in, just to give it a slight sweetness. This is quite a soft cream. It's not too stiff. There we go. It's going to go over the top of the fruit. Again, I'm doing it in 2 halves so that I can put the next layer on here. I probably shouldn't have made such a huge one, to be honest. but as my friends know, I tend to make probably more than is necessary. It's a trait from my grandmother, who was always made absolutely gallons of cakes. Now I've got 2 more layers here. When you take the layer off, you'll see it's on the paper. Be very, very gentle with it because it will crack even more. You just want to peel it off as slowly as you can. Now, I mean, I had a bit of an accident the other week when I was doing this, and for some reason I thought I could fit one of them on the bottom of the oven, and thought, oh, it's the low oven, it won't matter. But of course it did, and it actually got stuck to the paper more. Now that's layer 2, and on this now I'm going to put more fruit on top of this one. I think looking at this, I have probably made a huge, ginormous one. This was 6 egg whites, this particular one. So here we go. I'm nearly there on this one. It's lovely. This is a forest fruits one, and we love it because the flavour's great. But you can put fresh fruit in here too. That's not a problem. But at the moment it's February, so there's less of that around. Especially here in France, you don't tend to get as much produce. It's more seasonal here, so it's not so easy to go finding luscious strawberries or anything. Right, so that's the last of that one. Now I've got the cream. Just going to pop this on here. Of course, this all helps to stick the pieces together. There we go. This is going to go down well with coffee this morning. There we go. It's actually not too bad price-wise either when you make this, because the eggs aren't too bad in cost. There's a small carton of cream I've got here too, and it really isn't a huge amount of fruit. So other than that, the sugar, it's not bad if you're on a budget of some sort. There you go. I'm just going to use that spoon to take a lot of that out. There you go. Now this is the last one now, and I'm just going to take this last one off. Be very careful with your last one because you've got nothing to hide it in the middle of if you make a mistake with this one. And just peel it off very carefully. Pop that over there. I'm just going to gently layer this one on the top. Now, because my friend doesn't have has this allergy to chocolate, I can't drizzle a chocolate over the top, which actually looks really lovely. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of ice and sugar over the top of that just to finish it off. Just going to sieve that on the top. If you've got some fresh strawberries or something like that, you could put like a thin spread of those over the top as well. I'm just going to dust that off, just to give it a bit of a finish, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Looking at it now, it looks huge. Here we go. I'm sure it will go down quite well today. And there you go. That's the Meringue Gateau. As you can see, the layers underneath. And it's ready for cutting. That's the bit I don't like doing, the cutting bit. But good luck.